Hey everybody, welcome into Weekend Kickoff. It is brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. We are at Urban Meyer's Pint House. We've got some cold Coors Light. Byers Auto bringing this to you as well. That's Cardale Jones, Zach Boren, Robert B.B. Landers, and Bobby Carpenter. I am Austin Ward. Hey, are the Buckeyes back now?
Ooh. Whoa. Let's not jump to conclusions now.
Well, that's what we're here to do.
That's a good conclusion.
We're going to jump to
it is.
We're going to jump to some conclusions, and we're going to talk about Ohio State and Maryland on Saturday at noon.
I mean, this is like jumping to the end of, and just for lack of a better reference, I mean, because I heard it on the radio today, jumping to the end of Armageddon where they split that asteroid.
Oh, yeah, you got to see how it happens.
This isn't jumping to the end of Marley and Me where, like, we know how it was going to end eventually.
Yeah.
And
Marley and Me, really? You throw that out there?
Well, I mean, seriously, I'm trying to think of something else.
Oh, my goodness.
You knew what was going to happen. You don't need to jump and see a bad ending. You can jump to maybe the happy ending, the best type of ending that is.
Yes, sir.
And so they looked, they showed some signs of life.
We are off and rolling, boys.
Hit the ground running. That's what we do.
I mean, we're not going to just beat around the bush. We're going to get right to it, Cardale.
Let's get right to it.
Get right to it.
Uh-oh.
So you don't think
Thank you.
You haven't seen enough yet? You need to see more on Saturday at noon?
I do. I think that was what you said.
You're going to give CJ his Heisman right now, correct?
No. Of course not. We sat here and gave the Buckeyes crap for the last couple of weeks about, we questioned their toughness, we questioned how hard they play, we questioned some leadership things and like that. And I think some questions are beginning to be answered by some of these guys and the team as a whole. And I think Rutgers was a great example, but they got to continue that. They could come in here, a hungry Maryland team who just got annihilated last week at home, and they was on the roll until the end. So I think they could go in here like a bounce back game, but Buckeyes that continue to get better.
Bounce back because you're scraping them off the floor after last Friday night.
I think little Tua just threw another interception right now.
He might have. I think they answered more questions than what you think. Obviously, we were sitting here last week after the Akron game, like, finally, this is what they're supposed to look like, but there was still the asterisk next to Akron as the opponent. Finally, they go against Rutgers, and we all stood up here like, hey, this might be a tough test. That Rutgers team went into the big house, only lost 20-13, went toe-to-toe with Michigan, especially in the second half. And we're like, this might be a dogfight going into Rutgers, and these guys need to have the right mindset. Yeah. They did. They started off fast. Those young guys showed up early. You see Denzel Burke. You saw Travion Henderson early. There's a couple differences that we're seeing. A lot of those young guys now are firmly getting into those starting roles and getting a lot of reps, right? There's also less rotating that we're seeing, and we saw a lot of that early on in the year. Finally, these guys are getting into the roles, having confidence, and all of us up here can speak on this. When you are switching in every other series, you go out there on eggshells thinking, I got to be perfect, I got to make plays. Otherwise, this other dude's going to go in there and show me up, right? Yep. You're playing at Ohio State, there's other guys. When you've got the confidence that, hey, I can go out there and just play, and I don't need to be perfect, I don't need to be walking on eggshells, I got confidence, I know they believe in me, you play a lot better, you play a lot looser. That's what those guys are doing.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right?
I know exactly what you mean.
No doubt. That's why I hit you.
Yeah,
you know exactly
sure.
what I'm talking about. But that's what you're starting to see with this football team. Now you saw them take a big step with Rutgers. They got to take another big step with Maryland. This is a team who's going to challenge them through the air, which over the past couple years, that's where this team has struggled defensively, is through the air. Granted, I think you're seeing guys like Denzel Burke, Ronnie Hickman, Cam Martinez. A lot of these guys step up and play really well, but this can be another great test for this defense.
I think it'll definitely be a great test for the team all the way across the board. No, they haven't fully arrived yet, but like any season, you see guys and you see teams get better and better and better as you go. I think they're doing a good job right now kind of learning from some of those mistakes and mishaps, not only as players but as coaches, just from past games. And I think they're doing a good job at capitalizing on what has happened in the past. So they haven't arrived, and they beat the hell out of Rutgers, but it's going to be one of those things where they got to keep getting better and better and better, so that way as we get into the real meat and potatoes of the Big Ten, when you playing teams that can really bust you on any given night, these boys are ready to execute at the highest level, play in and play out.
So here's the one thing. Like, we talked last week and talked up Rutgers. Like, hey, they were down 20-3 against Michigan, went out and held them to like 25 yards rushing in the second half, scored 10 points. It was a one-possession game, and thinking, okay, like, giving Michigan some credit, thinking this is a good Rutgers team. And they were, I think, undefeated heading into that game. And this Rutgers team isn't bad. They're not your normal Rutgers team, but the fact that there was only a 2-touchdown favorite, they go out and just annihilate the spread. They annihilated the spread in like the first 3.5 possessions.
I mean, 4 minutes, it was 14-0.
I mean, it was literally almost very similar to that Iowa game where, like, you just sat down, you hadn't even taken a drink yet of your beverage, and you're like, my goodness.
And the band is playing.
Yeah, like, I'm going to have to start thinking about what I'm going to watch here in about a half hour. This looks like it's getting ugly.
Bob, here's what happened at Rutgers last week. They had this big crowd. They were super excited about it. They couldn't all get in. They were trying to tailgate as long as possible. There was a huge line of people.
Was it worse than Ohio State's trying to get in at the opening game?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because they're not used to accommodating any fans in the stadium at SHI Stadium. And it's 14-0, and I'm looking over to the left, and a bunch of those people that were still waiting to get in are like, you know what? I'm gonna
beat some of this traffic. Let me beat some of this traffic.
Back out over here. Anyway,
I think I forgot something in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to turn out to look to be a pretty quality win. The offense looked efficient. Offensive line was playing well. CJ looked to be accurate, more comfortable and confident in the pocket. Defensively, can't believe you didn't mention your guy Tyleik Williams.
Again.
Well, I didn't know we was
that
at that area
he almost
yet.
committed a homicide.
Yeah,
hey, Tyleik Williams needs to play so much more, and I think we are going to.
And they're working, and that's the thing. All those young guys that you're mentioning, it's like, hey, you started out getting like 30% of the reps, and it was like 45, and now it's like starting to flip where it's 55, 65, 70 to where they'll still rotate some, but those guys will be getting the lion's share of the reps. And it made it so much easier for the linebackers. You saw how much better Cody Simon, who got a little nicked up, played. Tommy Eichenberger, people been beaten down on, was making plays. Taraja Mitchell was doing some stuff because they were seeing a clear picture in front of them because the D-line was getting penetration. They were dominating the way they were supposed to. And when you do that, it makes your second level better, which makes your third level better. You got some pressure. And so watching that game, like, this looks a lot more like the 2019, like 2018 version of Ohio State that I expected to see because that game could have very easily been 84. Your score.
They showed a lot of mercy for Greg Schiano.
I think the whole storyline of the season has just switched over the past couple weeks. We were the first couple weeks of the season like, hey, this team needs to arrive. This team needs to show up, right? This team needs to create an identity. Now you've got a lot of these young guys playing out. This team has showed up, but now they can't have the attitude of, hey, we've arrived. Now we're good, right? They can't have that attitude now. In my mind, and you guys know this, you haven't arrived until you hold up a national championship trophy and you're in the locker room smoking cigars, drinking Coors Light, taking shots at the Patron, right? That's the only time. That's when you've arrived, right? And that's what these guys got to realize. Like, hey, now we finally have arrived. Now we've got people's respect across the country. Now we don't have us media guys. Now we don't have Buckeye Nation down our throats because we're not performing. Now we finally are performing. Now we got to continue to build on that, and until you win a national championship, that's when you can finally take the foot off the pedal.
Yeah, you don't score until you score.
No doubt.
Just ask Master Teague.
That's a great point. I want to remind all the football fans that as we love the fall, we love football season, and we all know that fall means cold weather is around the corner. Is your furnace ready? Whether it's a quick fix or you need a whole new system, Sears Heating and Cooling. They're your local Bryant dealer. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure that your system is up to the task. You can rely on Sears Heating and Cooling to provide exceptional service, and they'll make sure you and your family stay comfortable all winter long. Schedule your fall tune-up today at SearsHeatingandCooling.com. Bryant and Sears Heating and Cooling, they're doing whatever it takes. They're the presenting sponsors of Weekend Kickoff. And speaking of doing whatever it takes, give me some guys who stood out against Rutgers. Who else needs to get it done on Saturday against Maryland?
Other than the guy who almost committed a homicide?
Y'all can't take my person, man.
187.
Well, just go first, baby.
On the undercover.
I don't never go first.
Go ahead, then. Since you think I'm going to take your guy, go ahead. I think it's someone else.
He gets the D-line. He gets the D-line. Go, Cardale.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess I got to take the quarterback. He answered a lot of questions that we had over the last couple of weeks about, especially him sitting out an Akron game and resting. Is he going to be ready? Is he going to, how ready is he going to be? And I think he answered those questions. And if he continue to build on that performance and the way he was showing leadership by just leading by example, he'd be in a good position at the end of the season.
Well, why beyond the physical part with the shoulder, what do you think the benefit could have been mentally for CJ Stroud to watch that week?
I don't know, just seeing it from the sideline. Just seeing it from a position, as we all know, it's tough to watch, someone out there perform at your job or you should be out there when your boys is and you're not. Maybe changing his mindset, I got to do whatever I got to take to stay on the field and be on the field because I don't want to feel like this anymore, even though it wasn't like he was benched.
Right.
But that feeling, no matter what, is always, in that competitive spirit of like, oh, man, I got to be out there and I should be out there. So hopefully it changes mindset like that, and whatever it takes, I got to do to win this game or to put my team in position to win.
I think there's a lot of guys that you could name specifically. I'm gonna go with the old Anthony Schlegel answer.
Here we go.
I'm gonna say the defense, the entire defense. He used to take all position groups, the entire team. He used to take the whole coaching.
1 through 85.
1 through 85. He'd take them all, the whole travel squad. I'm gonna say the defense though, and the reason why is because everyone's been pointing the finger at them. Besides C.J. Stroud, everyone's been pointing the finger at the defense the entire year. In the way they started this football game, Denzel Burke getting a pick six, those guys setting the tone early, they answered all the questions. They need to keep on building on that. I think this is, 4 defensive scores in 3 games or something like that, lead the nation, right? So for them to be able to have those stats, especially with how they started off this season, the way they've turned it around, they need to continue building on it. Those young guys need to continue stepping up. I mean, you could name Tyleik Williams. You could name JT. You could name so many of these guys. I mean, Cody Simon. Steel Chambers is playing phenomenal, Bob. Like, that's a guy going from running back to linebacker. And it doesn't matter. Bob and I will tell you, it doesn't matter if they're the most gifted linebacker in the world. It doesn't matter if you take every step correctly. There's one difference that sets you apart as a linebacker, and it's if you have a nose for the football. It's the instincts, just knowing where the ball is and being there at the right time. And for some reason, Steel Chambers might not know what he's doing at all times, but the dude has a nose for a football and gets to the football.
I agree. Well, we all know what mine is going to be, Tyleik. And I'm going Tyleik not only just because of the fact that he should probably be in jail right now, but for the simple fact that I know I watched him. I came into camp this summer and watched him a little bit, and Coach Johnson really raved about how quick and athletic he was at his size. You know what I mean? And watching him develop, and I think him getting his feet wet, I can honestly say he has kind of brought back something that the interior D-line has been missing, which is that guy that's in the middle that demands respect, demands a double team, and at the same time, too, he's created a new line of scrimmage, play in, play out. It's times where he got reached. A lot of people won't know this. He got reached, but he's so quick and athletic that he can pop back out of it and still make a play. You know what I mean? So he is now one of those guys that later on down the road is going to be that X factor that if you don't respect him, freshman or not, it's going to tear you apart.
Absolutely. I don't mind defensive linemen getting reached as long as you're 3 yards deep in the backfield and, pushing the play. But that's the problem. Guys were getting reached before, and it's kind of hanging out, all right, I'm kind of just sitting here, and that hangs the guys out behind them to dry. It's where do we fit? And so you saw the lack of aggression. And so I'm going to go, Cody got hurt. He was playing really well. I'll go with the 2 guys who probably played the most. And I'm going to go one step below Zach, and I'll say the linebackers, just because they've been beaten up, and rightfully so. They had been uncertain. They weren't decisive with their movements, and when they were, then they were fast. They were kind of fast in the wrong direction. So, hey, I was over there talking to him at practice, hey, be patient till you know what's going on. Don't just kind of meander up into the line and then you get caught and you can't get off a block. These guys will clear it up for you. Just trust that they're going to do it, because the last thing you want to do is start jumping around and trying to make up for stuff that's not there, because then you got a whole mess. D-line took care of their stuff, and you watch, Taraja hitting the gaps, Steele hitting gaps, Tommy Eichenberg hitting gaps, Tommy coming up with an interception, just those guys making plays against the Rutgers team that they're not overly talented, but they are tough, and they are disciplined, they are well coached. And so to be able to play an entire game like that and not give up any monster plays and to not let them drive and put together a lot of points, there was still a team that was able to drive the ball and do some stuff against Michigan. That never really happened against Ohio State, and so I was really impressed to see that, and a lot of that came from the second-level defenders.
I cannot believe that a fullback returns to the offense, then gets a Tuesday media appearance, name drops Zach Boren.
Did he name drop me?
Name drops Zach Boren.
No. I didn't know that.
Said there hasn't been a fullback in this offense since, I believe, Zach Boren. I said Mitch Rossi knows his history, gets into the end zone. I mean,
Mitch Rossi, I apologize.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll take him. How about the return of the I formation, Zach?
It was phenomenal.
Play action.
It was great. Hey, listen, Mitch, I was cheering when I saw it. I was standing up. I gave you a standing ovation. We had people over at the house. Trust me, I was like, oh my God, here we go again, right? So Mitch Rossi, congratulations. I should have taken him, but kind of went to – listen, Mitch Rossi, you haven't done anything bad all year. You've been phenomenal on special teams. Whenever you get in, you've done a phenomenal job. I go after the guys who haven't been performing, who are now performing. Mitch, you've been performing all year, brother. Us fullbacks always perform, dude.
One of the things that was great
on the field, off the field, we're always performing.
Well, it was great to see the fact like Ryan gets under center a little bit, and I think that's an added dimension to the offense where you don't have to do it, 50 times a game. But the fact they have it in the arsenal and they can jump under center for 10 plays a game for some short yardage stuff, it opens up the sneak. You can run some traditional runs. Play action's a lot tougher because the linebackers of the defense, they don't really see it all that much anymore.
I was about to say, I bet 90% of the people watching the game, like, what is this? They're doing a trick play.
So that's what the coach. That's what now the defensive coaches, when they're playing Ohio State, like, all right, they're gonna get under center, guys. Here's our run. And like they have to walk through all that stuff because, like Iowa does it, Wisconsin, Michigan. There's a handful of teams, but if that's something that's just part of your offense as opposed to what you're doing all week, you still have to dedicate, a period here and there during the day, and that's time in the 20-hour rule of the NCAA that you cannot spend doing something else.
Yeah, 20-hour rule. Mm-hmm. So what did the fullbacks do for homecoming weekend, Zach? Are there any great memories? What does homecoming mean to the actual Buckeyes on the team? Is it any different?
No clue.
No.
All right.
No clue what that means.
No.
They've got the
I know the band comes.
The alumni band is
cool.
out there. They do the full script Ohio.
Yeah,
but the players don't see it.
That. We're in the locker room.
Believe me, I told it. People got mad at me when they talk about the greatest tradition ever. I'm like, I didn't see one script Ohio when I played Ohio State. I'm going to be honest with you.
Exactly. I think the cool thing, they play Hang On Sloopy twice.
Yeah.
The band,
As long as they have to
the current students, and then the
you want to know?
band.
Yeah, homecoming.
Don't you get invited back as a captain?
You want to know something? Not anymore because they haven't done the dinner the last 2 years.
Okay.
Because of COVID protocol. So
yes.
Yeah, so we haven't done that. Really, homecoming. The thing I remember was always kind of a noon game. They always kind of made it against a lesser opponent early on in the year.
Guaranteed win.
Yeah, guaranteed win. I don't know. The partying was just as good after the games. I'll tell you that much.
Every week is good then. All right.
Every week is good after a game, especially win.
Perfect. Love to hear that. We're going to take it's halftime of weekend kickoff. We're going to let these guys take a quick break. We'll be right back to talk a lot more about Ohio State and Maryland.
Precision engineering. Rigorous attention to detail. A Bryant Evolution heating system is so well designed, it's as much of a joy to install as it is to use.
Good to go.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
And now with some early bowl predictions, Bobby Carpenter.
Well, Austin, what I'm seeing here is 12 lucky Roosters guests are getting the opportunity to travel to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with 2 tickets, airfare, and hotel. One prize winner will be chosen each week. Guessing to register weekly at roosterswings.com.
That's great, Bobby. What I was asking was your prediction for the Buckeyes this bowl season.
I have no idea. I'm going to Roosters right now to register.
All right, it's the second half. Welcome back. It's weekend kickoff. It's brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. We're rolling right along. Ohio State, Maryland, noon on Saturday. It's homecoming. Just the same for all these 4 guys, apparently. But we got
because we don't get to do any of the stuff.
So the band is homecoming is this week?
Yeah,
this week.
Well, the band is still involved, but if you're like a captain, you get to go back.
No,
for a
it's the both bands. The alumni band back this week.
I think maybe
I thought
don't
that was
know.
like 2 weeks ago.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
There was a huge. I think there was a Quad, Ohio.
There was that. So. Yeah, that was against Tulsa. I think.
Okay.
That was alumni
The
band
Buckeyes
day
got a game on Saturday. Let's just say that. That's all we know.
That's a great point, BB. There's
Buckeyes got a game on Saturday. That's all that matters.
We also, have a buyer's auto question for Cardale.
Oh boy.
Hello.
And it's back. And I already kind of spoiled it by asking about CJ with that week off, but you have talked about this a number of times, that toughness is mandatory.
Yeah.
That's the expectation for this position. Did you think that last week he stood in there on the throw to Rutgers, got hit in the back, popped up, he ran a little bit more? I know how much you despise, it's not optional, but did you think that there were some signs of that toughness that you liked last week?
I think for one, it's mandatory in this sport, not just this position.
Sure.
Mandatory in life.
Wow.
Now we're getting there.
Zach Boren.
Now
I'm quoting you tonight on Twitter right after this. But anyway, I think so. But it's always be tough. It's easy to be tough and when things go on your way, right? Yep. I want to see what the kid really do want to deal with some adversity. Really, overall, the team, because the last time they dealt with something, I think they folded a little bit. But I think he answered a lot of questions that I had personally about him as preparation and getting ready for games and being a leader. And I think if he builds on that, I think he's going to be in a really, really good position at the end of the season to lead this team to the playoffs, a big bowl game, whatever it may be.
Let me follow up on that. Because when you got here, I know Tress used to do this. And, every coach, Ryan, comes from the NFL, and everybody does it differently. And I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way. Just I was like always when I saw quarterback competitions, whether it was Justin and Troy, and when I saw some stuff, other guys with Tress, like in the spring when guys are battling, like we're not going live every day, but hey, we're going to give you some red jerseys. Like,
oh, you guys want live every day?
No.
They wasn't?
No, and that's my point. Is like guys look a little gun shy sometimes in the pocket because it's the first time you've ever been actually hit throwing the football, and so I'm not saying like, hey, we need to do like half a practice it every day, but hey. Maybe 2 practices, a couple competitive periods where, live, like, you guys are all battling now.
Yeah. Ain't no, like the shot he took on a touchdown pass, clear blind shot. No, you can't do that. Push him or, stay away from
guys
him.
need to learn.
The real life, I mean, granted, when I was there, if we would have did that more often as good on good, just like when we was there. Well, Johnny couldn't practice with us good on good because he ruined practice. I mean, we happen to have a guy like that as well, Joey Bosa. Yeah. But I was live my whole years in college, so that would have been a nice luxury to be coached by Coach Tressel in that aspect. But, you got to be tough, man. You got to be tough.
I just feel like, maybe in the spring, you have 3 guys battling. Like, you know what?
You got to go. Yeah.
Go a little light. Like, let's see who actually can throw the ball when the dudes aren't just hitting drive-bys on you. Like, they might be actually, because then you get in the game, and that dude isn't drifting. He's not flaring off. He's coming right down the barrel, and you got to step into it.
I totally agree with you because if I was a quarterback coach or head coach, make that decision. In the spring, we battle. Yeah, my guys are live. Not just, the big scrimmage day. My guys are live.
And it's easy to look at, 300 yards and 5 touchdowns and think, well, he threw the football better. But probably for you 3.
Ran.
And also ran the football.
Ran the ball. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
The rest of the team, the linebackers, the defensive linemen, the fullback, they want to see the quarterback, what happens when he gets hit. And that probably resonates more, especially that one to Rutgers getting hit in the back.
And listen, Tom Brady's 4,000 years old. And when it's a 3rd and 6 on Monday night and he's playing or Sunday night and he's playing back in Foxborough and he needs to get 6 yards, it may have taken him 3 seconds to run 6 yards. But he's pulling down, he's taking a shot, and it juices up your team because your guy, like, hey, he could throw it away and we'll go play another day or maybe try to force one in. But, hey, the lane is there. It's a tight one, but I'm going to go get it for my guys because they're putting their body out there. And we're not asking you to do it every play, but just every once in a while, man, when you ran against Alabama, it juiced me up. You got everybody going.
Yeah, get you something.
Get you something. I'm not saying, hey.
Yelling in the stands, dog.
When that 12-wheeler got rolling, boys, get off the track.
No stop.
It was all bad.
Another thing from C.J. Stroud, though, that you saw this past week, and it could be one of 2 things. He either is healthy, but, from supposedly an AC joint bruise, whatever it might be.
Who told you that, Zach?
Who knows? Cardale. But, a week and a half isn't really going to – that's a lingering injury. Yeah. That's something that I know from our standpoint. When you get that in the year, you're wearing that pad up until spring ball because it hurts all year, right? So I don't know if it's so much that or the other part is finally it looked like he was playing with some confidence. And I don't know if it was healthy or whatnot, but it's almost like instead of being on eggshells, because the first couple weeks of the season, everyone was saying, hey, the backups, we want to see them. The 5-star guys behind him, he's not performing up to par. Well, they finally saw what a 5-star kid can do against Akron, and finally everyone's like, and I'm not saying Kyle McCord is bad by any means, but they're not ready, right? And so I think finally CJ goes out there like, hey, now Buckeye Nation knows they better support me because the guys behind me just aren't ready to play, and it showed. He went out there and played with confidence. It's like, hey, I'm not walking on eggshells anymore. I can be myself. I can play. I can make my decisions, and I'm not going to second-guess everything.
Do you think maybe he bought into just what the core value of OSU football is Coach Mick, toughness. Everything we do is about toughness. When he makes his speech, you got to pack the run game, stop the run, got to pack toughness. Thursdays, it's mental. It's Team Up North Day. Team Up North Day is going to suck. You're going to start over. You're going to do it, I don't know, Lord knows how many reps, pissed off, hurting, abs knotting up, chest is on fire. Maybe he just decided to shut his young brain off and buy into what is a part of the core of Ohio State, which is toughness.
Well, that's a fair point. But I mean, you just like all the other guys on the team, we have seen significant, growth by each player that we expect a lot of, each and every week. And I think, like I said before, I think CJ in a unique situation for one. Let me kind of backtrack a little bit.
Yep.
He's in a situation where if he don't perform really, really well this year, he might be in trouble next year.
Right.
Even if he does perform really, really well this year, I think he needs to put himself in a position where
he's not in that Trevor Lawrence, Bryant, Kelly. Was it Bryant?
Kelly
Bryant situation where the kid was, just led the team to the national championship, but I mean, Clemson defense was unreal that year.
Yep.
Yeah, but he wasn't what they saw in Trevor Lawrence, even though this guy literally just led this team to the national championship. So he was on a short leash. I think CJ needs to continue getting better so he can, not saying look forward, look past the season, but he need to widen that leash as much as possible for next year, quarterback battle.
And I think that's been the part that's been interesting, I guess, to cover the last 5-6 weeks is that CJ Stroud is not like Kelly Bryant did take them far, but he was not some world-changing recruit. Like CJ Stroud is also a 5-star quarterback. He also won the Elite 11. He's not just some scrub that was thrown in.
Of course not.
Well, I think,
but we know. I'm
not arguing your point. I'm just saying, like, the way he was treated was like, well, let's just obviously move on.
Right, but granted, I don't care what type of recruit you are, none of that stuff. You still got to prove it.
Yeah,
I don't care about that.
I think to your point is he needs to learn at a young age right now. He is still a freshman. He needs to learn that killer instinct. And he needs to learn, hey,
I agree.
It doesn't matter how I'm performing this year. Every single game is killer instinct. I'm going out there to perform, right? And then in the spring, it's like no holds bars, man. It's, hey, I'm here to stake my claim. On those Thursdays that you talked about, even though the quarterbacks are like matched up with the specialists or something, except Cardale. Cardale was with the offensive lineman.
I was with the freaking linebackers. I used to do circle drill versus linebackers.
I know.
Yeah,
but I think CJ Stroud just needs to your point, just needs to keep on building on that killer instinct and say, hey, no matter the way I perform, no matter what I do, I can always get better and keep on improving.
Yeah, because he's not going to have that luxury of keep saying I'm a young player, which he is, because next year, it's potentially be his second year starting and things like that. But, he's not going to have that luxury of, he our guy no matter what. I don't think so, depending on his performance of this year.
Well, and that's almost by design when you look at what Ryan Day is doing and signing nothing but 5-star quarterbacks with no break. Quinn Ewers arrives. Kyle McCord has now already played. I don't think that Jack Miller is going to be part of that.
He's not going to stick around.
But again, he's also a 4-star quarterback, and Ohio State's going to stay involved with these guys moving forward. So that's that competition that you guys are talking about. That is the Buyer's Auto. It's a question for Cardale. Shift into the closing segment, the fourth quarter. Silver Bullets, Coors Light, and Vizzy. They want some Silver Bullet predictions, and I need some keys to this one as well. Ohio State in Maryland. I believe right now it is
21. Oh,
it went down.
Oh, it went down from 21?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me fact check that.
That's part of the show as well, as you fact checking.
I do fact check. Normally I know. When I looked at it yesterday, it was 21. I thought it came down to 20 and a half last night. I don't know if it came back more, but it was at 20 and a half last night.
Well, I already got my score.
And right now it's at 21.
21, okay.
21.
Perfect.
And that's why Spencer Holbrook, the man behind the camera tonight, always says to shop around.
Shop around.
Get your best price.
I would like to bet on his book.
I would take 19. If you're going to give, I'd rather have 19 than 21.
Yeah, 21.
Well, let's work off of, what is it, 20 and 21. All right. Cardale's got his score no matter what.
Yeah, I got my score no matter what. I was going to cover 19 or 21. I got 42-20. I do think Maryland comes out there the keys to win and stopping them, throwing the ball through the air because they do a really good job of those RPOs and just dropping back, little Tua launch it. But Maryland is down a receiver as well this year.
Lost their best receiver.
Yeah, so he's down.
Coach, his knee bent ways it shouldn't have been.
It shouldn't have went that way. Yeah.
Wasn't natural.
Migos, that way? That's what happened. But, but hopefully that kid have a speedy recovery, not just this week. Oh, he's done for the season. So.
He's done.
So see you next year.
When it goes that way.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
you barbecue. See you next year. But I got 42-20 Buckeyes, but I do think Maryland's going to come out early, challenge them through the air.
I like it. I am going 56-17.
Oh.
I think Maryland's defense just is not their strong suit. You saw what an Iowa offense did against Maryland last weekend, and Ohio State is so much more gifted than that Iowa offense.
Oh yeah.
Obviously they have a decent passing attack. Maryland does. They have a decent quarterback. There's going to be some points on the board, but that's where I'm going.
So slacking. Okay.
By the way, do we fact check our last week's scores? Because I'm pretty sure I was pretty close last week.
I actually got the score exactly correct on our bold predictions video last week. Yeah.
Bold predictions are here.
Not here. I don't remember what I said here.
No.
All I can remember is that
Everyone knows it only matters here.
Right.
It don't matter.
I picked two different scores.
With the bright only here.
Well, I have to do it so many times during the week. I never know what
It's
I'm
only
going to
here.
say. But that's the only one that sticks in my brain because when you get it right, you get it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 42-14. The way that the offense has been playing, they are really catching the groove and putting big numbers up all the way across the board in the pass game, the run game, the O-line is performing. The quarterback performance is real high. The running back performance is outstanding. And then the way that the defense is coming along, I feel like this will be the week that the secondary really steps up because, like you said, they're going to try to get them in the air early. Mm-hmm. And the way that the front seven has been playing, if they can click on all three cylinders on the defensive side, which I feel like this is going to be that week, I'm going to say that they spot them 14 points maybe on a big play or a blown coverage.
BB, how much competitive rivalry is there when the defensive tackles are setting the tone with the sacks and pass rush over the defensive ends? I know the rushmen are one unit, but it also breaks down inside and outside.
I'll say this. We, all the way across the board, have always competed. I cannot speak on personally right now just because
Yes, you can.
No, I'm not. Because think about it. My senior year.
You've got the pulse of the room.
My senior year, we interior guys always competed to see who can get the most tackles for loss because I always had either Chase Young or a Bosa brother. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get double teamed.
That competition was a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
At a one tech, I'm gonna always get double teamed.
I'm
not about to be the three tech that's getting a one-on-one block to the quarterback. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So it's not realistic. But I say the Tommy Togiai, Haskell Garrett year is when it really started. Yeah. In the years past, we've always had that dominant defensive end to where, all right, if interior guys hold it down on the run, on the run game, and as a nose guard, I'm gonna probably take on the double team on the pass game, and I just kind of have to work and communicate with my DN. It'll be fine. Yeah. Tommy Togiai and Haskell's year, they had to hold it down all the way across the board. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it was for them. So, and that's why I feel like this team right now is starting to look like last year, especially with Tyleek really stepping up. Now we got a nose guard that's kind of like he's got that skill set.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 56-17.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I like that.
Maryland's defense, there's nothing to write home about there.
Is that the exact same score I just gave?
No, you said 14.
14, yeah.
I changed it. I wanted 3.
I said 17, I thought.
You said 17?
He said 14.
You said 16.
How you get 16?
I don't know. I was wondering.
Either way,
I said 16.
You got to roll it back.
Play the tape.
We'll play back
Roll
the
it
tape.
back.
We'll play back the tape. I thought you said 14. That's why I changed it to 17. I didn't want to go that high.
I had 17.
But that sounds about right when you look at what they did last week. I think Maryland is just a different version of Rutgers. Defensively, they're not that great. I don't think they're as tough or as disciplined, but I think they're better skilled. They'll make some more plays. They may have some more chunks here and there just because they have better players on the outside. I don't think they can sustain a drive against Ohio State, at least not more than one. They may give up a big play here or there, and I don't think they're not going to be able to slow down Ohio State's run game at all. And I think once that's going, it's pick your poison at that point when you're the quarterback. When you can hand it to Travion Henderson, he's ripping off 10 yards. They either just sit there and all right, we'll give up 7 rushes for a touchdown, or we can try to stop that a little bit and see if maybe we can get some pressure on CJ. But he's played so well last week, there's nothing that led me to believe in that game that he would regress to what we saw earlier in the season. Guys get better. They usually don't get worse with more experience. So I like it at that point. As long as they eliminate the big play, which, frankly, the defensive backs have done a pretty good job.
Yeah,
Cam Brown's playing really well. He's one of the older guys that's really holding it down. But you look across the board, the rest of the young dudes out there that have been getting in, they've been making plays and doing a pretty darn good job.
So remember that mercy that I talked about that Greg Schiano got?
Yeah.
Maryland
no
won't.
mercy for Mike.
Mike Loxley will not get that. Not at all.
Why is that, you think?
Well, BB mentioned somebody that played on his defensive line a couple years ago who wound up getting suspended. Nobody really knows what that tip-off might have come from, but there are, I don't know, suggestions that it may have come from the state of Maryland.
I know where you're going with it now. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
There are.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little
you
bit
serious?
of bad
Yeah, it
blood.
came from home cooking.
A little bit of bad
How
blood
ironic.
with this Maryland
know that.
program
You didn't
coming
know that?
from Ohio
Oh,
State.
yeah, I knew that. I didn't know where he was going with it, but yeah.
I did, as soon as
They
he started
won't-
talking, I knew
I
where he
don't-
was going with it. I didn't know that, though.
Yeah, I don't think Ryan Day's calling the dogs off right before halftime the way he did for Greg Schiano, who he respects and worked with. That's not going to be the case on Saturday. 66
Ooh, shellacking.
to 10.
Oh, shellacking.
So this is like a hang a hundo game, is what you're telling me.
The backups will play, but this will be the one. I won't be surprised if they have that half 100 by halftime. This is going to be a Ryan Day special. You've got the bye week looming. You want to have that confidence as you go into it. It's homecoming.
First Big Ten game I ever played in Maryland.
Well, everybody gets
After a
to play, right?
shellacking. Yeah.
Everybody gets in. Everybody gets to have
Cardale,
some fun.
get ready. What? Where's my helmet?
Where is it? Oh, it's on my head.
So I've got that secondary that's playing a lot better. Even Seven Banks, he started. His practice habits are back. I talked to.
Practice habits are back.
I love that.
It's funny. I talked to him after practice on Wednesday. I said
He looked good in practice on Tuesday.
I said, we've said some things about you. Some of your family maybe not real thrilled with what we've said. Like, let's clear the air. Like, what's going on
It's
here?
you. Sit down. Have a seat.
Hey,
Yeah.
this dude-on-dude accountability. If you say something and you got a problem, I'm going to be right there. Zach knows it. Cardale knows it.
I do
Baby
know
knows
it.
it. I'm not going to hide from it. And I said it. And I said, well, let's hash it out. The
We
ankle.
ain't never had an issue, though.
I know.
I probably got
Because you guys are all really good. And Seven Banks can be that as well. And he said, look, he was trying to push back through the ankle, was not practicing, not feeling. He admitted, like, all right, he's not practicing as well as he expected to be, not playing like a first-round draft pick. I think that's coming. And if you add that back into this Ohio State secondary with get Cam Brown healthy, you know what you're getting from Denzel Burke now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Ronnie
he needs some. Both of those guys need some respect nationally.
Put some respect on their name.
They do, because Denzel Burke isn't getting anything like Singleton did or Stingley did at LSU 2 years ago. And Denzel Burke is having a hell of a better freshman season than Stingley did.
Whoa. Talking about the Thorpe winner from 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't the
He did win as a true
freshman.
Yo, whoa, easy now.
Listen,
Easy.
Right now.
No, Denzel is balling, though.
hey,
I love it.
right now,
He
right now,
I see y'all.
mark it.
Mark
it.
I think so, but
Say hold it.
You can tell the game time is getting close. The juice is flowing up here. It's been another great weekend kickoff. We appreciate Urban Meyer's Pint House, Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems, Byers Auto, and Coors Light for having us out and bringing in Cardale Jones, Zach Boren, BB Landers, and Bobby Carpenter. Big one on Saturday. Can't wait. You can find full coverage of Ohio State and Maryland at lettermenrow.com. We will see you there, and we'll be right back here not next week for the bye, in 2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks.
Blue Jackets game next Thursday.
That's
No,
See you
no.
there.
might find Zach Boren and I there. And then we'll be back here in 2 weeks as we get ready for another Big Ten game. Then we will see you there.